Hello, Nina, and welcome to the weightpull podcast.
Thank you so much, Johan.
It's been a while since we saw each other. Maybe I'm not sure if we saw each other 2019, but at least 17 or 18, I think.
I think it was definitely 17 because that was when I had my American Bulldog Petu and we were competing in Sweden. But I think we kept competing till 19, and those were the last times before he retired.
Yeah. So it's been a while. It's nice that you are back in pulling again. I know that you never left dogs. At least you did something else in between. But yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
it's Petu. I had a few years that I didn't do weight pulling, and I was like you said, I was doing all the other stuff with dogs.
Yeah. I think you had you have it still, a Malinois. Is it right?
My God, yes, I do have it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're always interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I was supposed to do mondioring with him, and that's sad to say that's one of my biggest mistakes. I kind of thought that I'm doing it with my left hand, just like this, but how wrong was I? But he's a
It's a lot
lovely
of
dog.
work.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as some people can hear, it's a little bit of an accent to the Finnish language, and so could you introduce yourself for the audience and how you started with dogs and how you found weight pulling?
I'm Nina. I'm from Finland, and I run this club called FS Sporting Dogs, and we organize all kinds of events here in Finland. We are competing canine athletics, wall, long jump, all those things. And how I found also weight pulling, but we can't compete in weight pulling in Finland at the moment because we don't have a track. And how I found weight pulling was about 10, 11 years ago with my first dog, Lexi Amstaff. I was looking for something different to do with her. And then online I found weight pulling and found out that there was a group and organization in Klaukkala, Finland. So I went there to the competition and was asking questions and info about how to start, and got really nice guidance. So I started weight pulling with her at first. We didn't do anything big, but it was fun for us to do.
Yeah.
So that's how I started.
Yeah, and did you grow up with dogs, or is that a more recent interest of yours?
When I was a kid, we didn't have any dogs. So, but then I lived in US for about 9 years, and we had dogs there, but they were just home dogs. So in Finland, with my first dog here was Lexi Amstaff, and I was, like I said, I was looking for something nice to do with her.
Yeah. And then you competed a little bit with her in Sweden, or
Yes.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I recognize the name. Yeah.
She basically, I remember first competition in Sweden was that it was in Sivert's shack or whatever. It was in Södertälje, and I just bought her new harness, and we went to the track, and she was stretching there and looking at everybody. Can you see my nice new harness? And then it was time, and that's it.
Yeah. So she more enjoyed showing off than pulling then.
Definitely.
Yeah. But did you have P2 at that time, or did you get him later?
Actually, Peter, was friend of mine's dog at first, and he showed some talent in weight pulling, and I was asking, he had so many dogs, he had a kennel, and I was asking if he would sell Petu to me, and he said no, and then I just kept asking and asking till he got mad at me and said, okay, you can have him. And I remember it was like I think it was at the end of the season, and I had like 3 weeks time to train him for the EM. He had the
Yeah,
qualifications already. So one of my biggest and nicest competition ever was that we went to Gothenburg, and there was the European Championships, and he won. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
So this was 2015 then, or
no, I think
what?
it was 17.
17? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I spoke to Sievert earlier today, and we discussed a little bit the biggest competitions here in Sweden ever, and European Championship in Gothenburg was the one, and that's why, and that was 15. So I
Yeah.
thought it was that one, but it's been a couple of European Championships in Gothenburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so the first competition you ever had with
Yes.
Pito, you won.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was the European Championships.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
crazy.
Oh,
A
it
great
was so
start.
awesome. Oh, I get goosebumps now
Yeah,
thinking about it. Yeah, it was awesome.
yeah. And you competed a couple of years with P2.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did okay. We went to Czechs once, and we traveled with him. He was a nice
yeah,
dog. Very nice.
yeah,
And then we just retired him because we saw that he was getting tired of things. I don't know. We never actually x-rayed him. I don't know if he was x-rayed or something, but it looked like he kind of lost his interest when getting older. So maybe he had pain or whatever. I don't
yeah.
know.
No, but still, you had a good run, and you
Yeah.
were quite involved in the Finnish organization as well, wasn't
Yes,
you?
very
Yeah,
much involved. Very much
yeah,
involved.
yeah. I remember your diplomas. Yeah, they're still, yeah, still kind of the best looking diplomas I've ever seen.
I know.
So
And I
yeah,
studied a little bit. I'm a graphic designer
yeah.
nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and you bought, but at that time you did work with something like that already then, or was it just a hobby back then?
Hobby. It was only a
Hobby.
hobby then. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now you're even better at it. So
I would say so. I would say so.
yeah, that's great. So you went to Klaukla, but did you live nearby there, or did you have a
No,
long way to go?
about 2 hours from Klaukala.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Petu
So
retired, and I had no dogs, and I started totally different things then.
yeah. So where in Finland are you located?
We are in Åbo, Turku,
Yeah, Turku. Yeah,
in northern part of Turku. So I think it's like 200 kilometers from 300 kilometers from Helsinki.
yeah. But I have a, or maybe there was. I just realized I think there have been some shows back in the old days in Turku. But especially, I think a lot of the Swedish guys they took the ferry and they got to shore in Turku and
Yes.
drove down to, yeah. Maybe that's the thing. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So
ferry comes to Turku every time. Like when we go to Sweden, we leave
yeah,
from Turku.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, especially when you're gonna take the car with you, I
Yes.
presume. Yeah, I've just take the ferry to Helsinki, but yeah, we went to shore a couple of hours, but that's more to get fresh air because we have drunken so much on the party boat. So yeah, you know that kind of trip. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Actually, too well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So, and then you got your Malinois after Pitu.
Actually, I had Billy there in between. Billy was my
Okay.
the best sporting dog ever, and any competition I went with him. He was doing like all the other stuff, and uh, every competition I ever went with him, he won. Every single one.
Oh,
He was so awesome, but he had this disease. It was in his genes. It was SLE, I think it's called.
okay,
It was some kind of autoimmune disease.
okay.
So he passed away, and when he passed away, I thought that, oh my God, this is not happening. And people were offering me dogs all over the world. That would you take this one? Would you take this one? I have Stuffy, I have Stuff, I have American Bulldogs. Billy was American Bulldog also.
Yeah,
So I was like so mentally low that I said, I'm not taking anything. Are you crazy? I'm taking a
yeah,
Malinois. So that's what I did.
yeah. And how long did you have the Malinois before you went back into the bull breed again?
Uh, I think
Because
Jackson was, he's 5 now. So I think he was 2 because then I had Frankie.
yeah,
Frankie came,
yeah,
and American Pit Bull Terrier.
yeah,
And well, he was something that I was looking for many years,
yeah.
searching for him.
So what was it with Frankie and what was it with the American Pit Bull Terrier that made you want to choose that kind of dog?
Well, I saw the competitions that we were doing the other stuff, like a Clash of K9 was one of the competitions, and uh, I met the breeders like online, and I liked Frankie's mother a lot and the father. So I was asking that if there's puppies coming up, and they said that no, they made one set already. So they said that they are not gonna make another one, and then they, after all, a couple of years, they decided to do one more breeding with the same breeding, and there was only one puppy who was born, and that
Oh,
was Frankie.
wow.
Yeah. So Frankie
Yeah,
came, and I was so happy, over the moon, because I started weight pull again. And that's
yeah,
always been like my biggest passion and dog sports.
yeah,
So
yeah. And what was it? What is it with weight pulling that makes it so important to you?
I don't know. I don't know. Actually, it's probably Mm, you can see the results. You work hard, you train hard, and you try to be consistent, because I think everything, the base is consistency. And I try to work that way, and also improving yourself and seeing the dog. I love competing. That's in me.
Yeah,
That's something it gets me hype, even though I'm always so nervous. But I don't know. It's nothing I have to do really run myself. So I can, it's in my
yeah,
hands how to do the dog. And when weight pulling, you can't force the dog to do anything. It's just how you bring the dog up or train
yeah,
the dog.
yeah. And at least from my side, I know that it's hard to be good at it, and that's why
Oh,
I find it so interesting and so much fun because it really you need to be consistent, as you said. Yeah,
yeah.
awesome. And before we go into how you train, and then unfortunately Frankie was taken away swiftly, and I know it broke your heart and immensely. But then a young happy girl came into your life.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, just like
And
that.
that's why she's called Nova, because she was a star that just burst into my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she has some genes to grow into when it comes to
Yeah.
weight pulling.
She's after crew dog Funny and Stephanie Solo.
Yeah,
That's very nice breeding. One day I was talking with Stephanie, then everything was open, and I was telling her that maybe one day I would take another dog, and then she had Nova there already. I said, how about this? And I said, no, I can't. It would be wrong because of Frankie, and how would I? Then I told her that wait half an hour. I'm gonna talk with Yari, my husband, and I'm gonna think it over. I'm not answering you, nothing yet. And then I said that it's because of weight pulling, and that's so close over here. So I said this is a continuity, nothing to do with Frankie. Frankie would love me to continue this also. So I called her back and said she's welcome here.
yeah, and
Mhm.
yeah, and it feels like it's a match made in heaven, kind of.
Yes, it was meant to be. My
Yeah,
friend Stephanie always says that it was meant to be like this.
yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. It's
She
really
has
nice to
brought
hear.
me so much joy and happiness.
Yeah, and you competed with her the first time, just kind of a month ago or something like that in
Yeah,
Belgium. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah,
And we did well. Our goal was to get the qualifications for the EWPO EM, because it's really expensive and hard from Finland to travel all over the Europe to the competitions. Just basically you can't afford it. We can go to Sweden, luckily. Luckily, there's going to be a
yeah,
competition, and
yeah,
so that was my goal. And the first day, it was really hard trip for her. She was nervous, and she didn't eat, or she didn't sleep or nothing. But first day she did 41%, and next two competitions 61%. So I was more than happy with her.
yeah. I can imagine. I'm not really familiar with the track, but it sounds like that's good results for that track.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah,
understood also. I haven't been in too many different tracks in Europe, so what I heard, it was a hard track, so it was a
yeah,
good one.
yeah. That's awesome. And as you said, now this is we're recording this the day after the news came out that it's going to be a EWPO competition in Sweden in the end of the summer.
Yeah.
At Siva's place, his new place, and on
Yes.
his enormously good rail track, and I'm looking forward to that a lot, and I think you too. And is it correct that you're going to be the head judge there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm so honored that they asked me.
yeah, that's really good.
Yes, it is. And it's nice that because Sivert and we are close, so Stockholm is just a boat ride over there, and we are almost there, so we can help each others now. It's
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really awesome.
yeah. That feels really good, and I think we all know that Sivert's when he had his last place, he went all in, and he learned some stuff, and now he's going to go all in once again.
Yes.
And it's going to be a really good place, uh, not only to compete at, but also to be a spectator and everything. I'm sure it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think so too. For example, his dirt track was the best ever seen.
Yeah,
It was really, really good. Oh, it was awesome. So I have high hopes for this one too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
knowing him, he doesn't leave anything halfway. He does it.
No,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. He's going to go the whole way for sure, for
Yes.
sure. And so you're a judge now in EWPO, but were you a judge in EWPL as well?
No.
No, but your husband was.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. But after Petu, he kind of dropped everything. So he hasn't been, he is following us, of course, training and stuff. And
Yeah.
now he's getting a little bit more excited because of Sweden, Sievert's track, which is
that's
really
good.
nice. Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, because as you said, there aren't any competitions in Finland
Yeah,
for the
unfortunately
last
not.
couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years now. And I
Yeah.
think we haven't heard anything, so we don't know what's going on. So uh, last what I heard is that because Klaukkala was lost, they built a bike, some kind of venue over there,
Yeah.
and they had to let it go. So they haven't found a new place to put a
No.
track.
No, it's the same issue every time. It was the same in Norrköping when they had a really good place by the ski slopes as well, and then yeah, the owner decided to do something else with that spot, and it's that's a pity. But the training center you have a track there, but it's too short, or what's the issue with that one?
Yeah, ours is just for training. It's nothing fancy. It's really
Oh,
old and rusty and anything, but it works for us. We are hoping that next year I would like to have a dirt track over here.
oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because one of the interesting and nice things about Finland is that it's always been really good big dogs over there,
Yes.
especially American bulldogs and some Malamutes as well. So
Yeah.
we kind of miss that nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
me
just the small
too.
dogs.
I was
Yeah,
hoping that FWPL would have continued there, or
yeah,
if they could have found a new place, but because I would love to compete, but we
yeah,
also have the problem we don't have uh, a very big community, weightpull community here. So the problem is that because in Finland you have to have a vet on premises, just like in Sweden, and the vets are really expensive. And if there
yeah,
are only few dogs competing, the price is high.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Here in Sweden, I think it's 110 euros an hour to have the vet on site, and it's you need to. I think you need to have around 30 dogs competing to break even
Yes.
at the competition, and I think it's the same there. And it's not that often that the Finnish competition has been over 20 dogs even. So
Yeah,
it's tough to get it together economically. Yeah,
it
that's a
is.
pity.
It is. But luckily
So
Sweden
yeah,
is close by, so we can always
yeah,
go there.
yeah, and I really hope that we can get. Lowering of the risk class here in Sweden. They are looking, the government are looking at it at the moment. So hopefully we can get it. So there only be a veterinary to inspect the dogs, and then they can leave and don't need to be there all the day. That would be
That would be a
awesome.
big breakthrough. Huge.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Then all
sounds
of a
awesome.
sudden, then all of a sudden you can maybe lower the prices a little bit, but at least to get some money after the competition to make sure that everything is good and
Yeah.
invest in more tracks and more harnesses and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, because now you just go from hand to mouth,
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
That's that's a pity. But okay, when it comes to your training, because now this is the third dog that you are doing weight pull with competitively. So have your training evolved the
Oh,
last 10 years, or
a lot.
yeah,
It's totally different. It's like with Petu and Lexi, it was Who said it? I don't remember who said it, but I was told that it's old school, old
Yeah.
school training. So, so with Frankie, I was a little bit better, but
Yeah.
with Nova, it's totally different. And
Yeah.
like I said, the consistency for me, that is the success in weight pull.
Yeah. So how did you train with Pitu and Lexi? How did it tip?
Now and then, some
Yeah.
things, and yeah, not consistently, nothing. Now
No.
and then.
Yeah. And did you go? I can imagine at that time you did like 3 kilometers and not that heavy chains. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Hmm. So there was
And
some strength building.
yeah.
So now it's repeat work, and it builds the confidence, and then the clean technique, and building a long-term strength also. So
Yeah.
those are like keywords.
Yeah. So how many days a week do you train?
We train 3 times: two strength training with chains, and it's quite short. It's what would I say, less than a kilometer, and then one on car with cart on a rails or on dirt or
Yeah.
grass or whatever
Yeah.
outside. It depends on what the weather is like. Winter is really hard over here because um I believe the strength chain work is really, really important, and we can't really do it during the winter because sometimes it's minus 25 degrees here, and you can't put your dog walk in a heavy, deep snow and
No.
freezing cold. So we lost like 2 months last winter, and then she got
Yeah.
a frostbite on her paw, so that took
Oh.
another one. But
Yeah.
we had that like a barn on our yard that has the rail track, and that's where we
Yeah.
train. Even though it's a cold area, we are there with the winter jackets every single week doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and for people that doesn't know, I kind of live in the south of Sweden, and we get cold winters, but that's nothing compared to what you get. It's
It's
yeah,
great.
it's crazy. That's winter, real winter, so to speak. Yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of
so
snow too.
yeah, so and then um is there when you do the cart training, is there any special focus does that differ a little bit, or do you always do it the same, or how does look,
I
how does that look? Yeah.
I try to keep it the same every single time. I race a little bit every single time, just like with chains. I race little by little every single week. We go steady and slow, slow and steady,
Yeah.
and same with the cart. And
Yeah.
now that she's getting a little bit older, I can start pushing her a little bit because she's still young, a year old.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I see the difference in Europe. They do it much faster than we do here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that also when I and then when I interviewed people, that it's a big difference. We are taking it way slower up here
Yeah,
in the Nordics than
yeah.
all over the world. Yeah. So do you have you pushed a little bit harder with Nova earlier than you did with Frankie, for example?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Frankie was like a baby. Like, I was too easy with him, but he did
Yeah.
good. So with
Yeah.
Nova, it's like mm, it's almost like we have a job. What has to be
Yeah.
done. With Frankie, it was like, let's us do some nice things
Yeah.
together. Yeah. So I'm more serious with Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good in many ways. And when you think about her pedigree, I think you get a lot back from that seriousness. also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has surprised me a lot because I was questioning that, is this really gonna work like the way it should? And she surprises me every single time, so that's really nice. So
Yeah,
hard
that's
work
awesome.
pays off, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we balance it with all kinds of nice things that now she's going the treadmill, she's doing the wall, she's doing lure, all kinds of nice things.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and we try to keep the training fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's important as well.
yeah,
So it looks like when I see on social media at least that you are a couple of guys that train together.
yes, we have a really nice group that we all year round. Actually, we do it together. Most of
Yeah.
them are not like competitive. Almost none of them. Just me and my friend Melissa. But
Yeah.
other than that, they like weight pulling and they would like to compete. But the problem is that they are not doing it consistently. That it's a little bit like I did with Lexi and Peetu.
Yeah.
Now and then.
Yeah, whenever they come to a training, then they do it, but they don't do it back home
Yes.
afterwards. No,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, I recognize that as well. Yeah, that's that's very common way to do it.
Yeah. That's what I did
Yeah,
with my Malinois. I went to training places and then I was supposed to do the homework and nothing was
yeah.
done. Then next week I go there and they said, "Oh, what happened? The dog is not going forward at all."
No, it's a lot of work back home to make those things, pretty much all training really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's at least for me, I think it's more fun when you do it consistently as well.
it is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said before, you can see the progression when you do it consistently. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So when you look at the Finnish weight pull scene, and especially it's the last 2 years has been kind of tough, and the years before, after the pandemic, pretty much it's been tough.
Yeah.
But what's your let's say that there will be at least one track to compete at. Do you think that it could be revived again?
I hope so. I
Yeah,
hope so. And I'm doing everything in my power to make it happen. Yeah. It requires a lot, but at least I'm going to try.
yeah, yeah. That's been a couple of really interesting dogs in Finland. Were a couple of dachshunds that competed,
Hmm.
especially that yeah, and that's always nice to see.
Yes.
Some other kind of dogs. But what's the most common dog in Finland? Is it
Pitbull.
pitbull? That's the
American
most common.
Pitbull Terrier. Yeah.
Yeah,
In weight pulling.
way pulling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it used to be American Bulldogs, but
yeah.
I don't know where they are at the moment. I have to look
So
for them.
that's quite interesting because
It is.
they were kind of common here in Sweden as well,
Mm-hmm.
like 10 years ago. But there's pretty much no American Bulldog competing now in Sweden
Yeah.
either, and not really in Norway either that I've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two, but not that. Like 10 years ago, there was 10 or 15 that
Mm-hmm.
competed regularly. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's
awesome
interesting.
then. Yeah, and there are many American Bulldogs still, but they are doing other stuff. Uh, I guess it has something to do that we don't have a track and no training places, so where to go and how to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
organizing
that's
some of the like training sessions, and now I'm having like a little training camp just to basic things.
yeah. Yeah, that it's really important to have those groups that you can turn to and ask questions and borrow a harness to begin with, because
Yes.
it's always a couple of weeks or months to get a harness the first time. So you need to borrow it in the
Yeah.
beginning, and it's
Luckily, we
that's
have plenty of those, so we can always lend.
oh, that's good. That's really good. And it's So when it comes to the different organizations, you're one of those that actually have competed in both the EWPL and now the EWPO, and it's quite the big difference between the regulations
Mhm.
and some other stuff. So what's your experience and thoughts when it comes to the different organizations?
Um, I think all the rule sets and organizations and standards are what's the word? Essential for the development of weight pull. I think without structure, you can't grow. Clear rules and uh, consistent standards make competitions fair and safe and comparable to other countries.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So, do you prefer a special if you maybe not the organizations, but the kind of rules when you see at the EVPL, you need to place your dog, and it's more strict and more obedience based compared to the EVPO. So, is there a big difference in how you feel when you compete between those rule sets?
Um, I'm very used to the EVPL, EWPL, so I'm probably a wrong person to answer it because it comes from my spine, so I can
Yeah,
do it as well. But when I get new people here and they ask me about the rules and stuff, and when I start telling them about EVPL rules, they are like, hell with it. I'm not doing it.
yeah,
I can never learn all these things. That why is it every step and every look and everything is like scrutinized. So that's that's a big downfall for
yeah,
new people. But for me, it's well, I've done it so long, so it I
yeah,
don't know. Well, I do like EWPO rules better. I don't see the problem there that you are leaving your dog or you are staying with your dog. I believe that it's better for the dog that you are supporting the dog. You are right there. You are not leaving and say, see ya.
yeah.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah, so when I've been looking at live streams and clips and everything online, it's I my idea was that when you had all the other rules except EWPL, there were a lot more stress in the dogs. But now when I've collected much more knowledge, it actually seems to be the other way around. So,
Mhm.
and I think that's as you said, when you can stay with the dog and support the dog when if the dog is a little bit anxious or if it's heavy, then that's more soothing and it's better for the dog, so they don't get that stress that you can see
Exactly.
unfortunately in a lot of EVPL dogs. And that's nothing new with EVPL. It's been like that since I started competing in
Hmm.
2011. It's
Yeah.
the the really good dogs, you don't see the stress, but the a lot of other dogs you can see it more prevalent than other rules. I believe, at least now.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you see it when you start walking, the dog start, there's a tangle right away because the dog start turning around and stuff like that. When you are there, let's do this together.
yeah.
And still, you
It's gonna
can't force the dog to do it.
no, no, exactly. Yeah, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how many EWPL people that gonna enter the new shack triple pull in August, because
I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot. I don't know.
yeah, I really hope so, because it's a very good opportunity to showcase your dog and showcase the
Mhm.
sport, I think. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's going to be really, really good. Do you think your friend with American Bulldog, will she come as well to the show?
Actually, it's a plan. Yeah, it's a plan.
Yeah, that's good. At least
Yeah.
we have two Finns at that show then.
Yeah, at least I've been trying to talk the other ones too that they would
Yeah,
come. Yeah, but
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, it's still um it's not super long, but the ferry takes like, I'm not sure how many hours does the ferry take.
I think it's 12 hours. When we leave in the
Yeah,
evening, the next morning it's in Stockholm, and then we have like a 30 kilometers drive to
yeah,
Södertälje. So it's
yeah.
a
So
fast one.
yeah, that's good to leave in the evening and then wake up in a new country. That's good.
Yes.
Oh, but is there any special thing when it comes to weight pulling in Finland? Do you think that except for losing the track in Klaukala, I'm having a
Yeah,
hard
Klaukala.
time. Klaukala, yeah. Is there anything else that have done that interest have gone down, or is it the rules, that it's a lot of rules when it
I
comes
don't
to
know. I
EVPL?
think the main, because even though the last years there were competitions, there were only like 11 dogs competing.
Yeah,
So that's not a lot. So I don't know if it's just the interest or lack of bringing the weight pull forward, or what it is.
yeah,
But at least I promise to do the damnness to bring it up again.
yeah. That's really good. It feels like, at least here in Sweden, it feels like after the pandemic we lost a lot of people. Fortunately, here there was a lot of people starting, but it was a big generational shift,
Yeah.
and a lot of the younger generation aren't as interesting in working for free.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the backbone in sports in the
It
Nordics as
is.
well. So
It
yeah,
is.
so maybe that's also one of the reasons. But if you're gonna when you have that training group that you have, and you have it looks like a nice facility, even though the track is old, it's still good to train on.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
very good, and I always believe the worst place you are at, it's easier for you to go to the good one.
yeah, yeah. Train hard and play easy, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
compete
I
easy.
hope
Yeah,
it
that.
really goes that way.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. So, when it comes to feeding the dogs, you only have Nova and Jackson. Only
Yeah,
you have two dogs now. So do you feed them differently, or how do you do that?
I basically do the same. I'm the brand Mush.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm one of the ambassadors, so I get a good deal. So they both eat raw food.
yeah. For those who don't know, mush is a really high end raw food.
Yeah,
Kind of one of the best on the market up here,
yeah,
at least, or I can assume in wherever you look, because yeah, it's really, really good. So well,
yeah,
then your dogs are well taken care of when it comes to
yeah,
the feeding. Yeah, do you
yeah.
feed once or twice a day, or how do you do
I
that?
do twice a day.
Yeah,
Yeah, morning and what is that? Heartburn, whatever what is that? Repeating.
yeah.
The Nova has that, so I have to give her. Actually, I should give her even 3 times a day, because
Yeah.
like in the evening, I give her food in 2 different parts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not uncommon for the dogs to need to be fed a couple of more times just to make the digestion system work fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then do you do the meatballs or do you have the patties?
We have the like square pieces.
Yeah.
So it's
Then
easy to give them, because meatballs you have to give so many, so it's easy to give the patty or whatever it's called.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've been lucky. I've been the ambassador like 5 years now already.
Oh, that's really, really good.
Yeah,
it seems
but
like
that's why, because I organize those events, so they have been happy with me.
That's good. That's good. So that's one of the perks to work for free in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you get something out of it.
Exactly.
That's good. Awesome. So do you have any more shows planned more than the one in Sweden this year?
I have a plan to go to Poland. At the end of the season. I think the EWPO EM is in Poland somewhere, so that's where I would like to go. I was going to Denmark to races, but I can't make it now.
Okay, yeah. Then it's extra good that Sivet are gonna host his show then. Yeah.
Oh, I am. It is so awesome. It's the best news ever.
It sounds like a lot of people are happy with that, and I'm a little bit involved in the background when it comes to organizing the registrations and stuff like that. And I've already seen that it's 8 or 10 dogs already registered to show up. And
did you see Nova there?
Yeah, I saw Nova there.
Okay.
So
I
it's
have
gonna
to
be
make you guys the diplomas.
Yeah, you have to do that. Yeah, that would be really, really good. I've tried a lot to, but I'm not, something with the diplomas that's hard. I can do a lot of other stuff like posters and stuff like that. But diplomas are they need to be professional, not only exciting. Yeah, that would be really, really good. Yeah, so I really hope there's going to be a lot of people coming and because in my mind, I haven't seen all the tracks in rail tracks in Europe, of course, but I know that I can imagine that there are more than maybe one or two other people that's that invested in making a track good as Sievert is.
Yes.
So for everybody that listens, make sure to look at your calendars and be able to come to Sweden the 15th and 16th of August.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good show. Yeah. I think we pretty much have covered all the. No, it's one more thing, actually. You said that you were really nervous when it comes to competing, but you still love competing.
Yes.
So how do you handle that nervousness?
I don't really have any game day rituals or routines. I just try to keep myself calm. So if I'm grounded, my dog is grounded. So I just try to keep it calm and simple and same as usually, because the travel is hard. We either fly or drive a couple of days to the events. So I keep everything as normal as possible, and that helps me to calm down also. But then also there's setbacks, and they always do. Then I just look in the mirror and train harder or try to fix what I did.
Yeah. So when you were in Belgium, is the qualification, is that 40 pound for pound?
Yeah, 40.
40. Yeah, so that's why you pulled 40 the first day. And did you have a a plan on how many pulls you wanted to do to get to 40, or
No,
you just went by
yeah,
feel?
no, it was a new track and our first competition together. So I was like, I had no idea because we don't have a track like that. So I didn't have a clue what she's going to pull. So
No.
that was my goal and I was just going for that. So
Yeah.
I
So
was so
did you
super
do
happy.
anything? Did you do anything different when it comes to the plan of amount of pulls and weight when it came to the other two pulls? The first day I realized that it's, yeah, you have to feel the track a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But did you have a other mindset those other days, or how did you do that?
No, actually, I was thinking that maybe if I get the same one, I'm happy.
Yeah,
And it was like Saturday, the first one, and then it was done. After it was done, we started over again. So I was like, oh my God, she's going to be tired. It was a little bit tough for her to pull that 40%. And I was just saying that, well, let's do our best and see how it goes. And she totally surprised me that she pulled so much more and got that 61%.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
really
it was
nice.
just a warm up, the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's really good. And but when it came to, I know you competed with Frankie in, that was in Uppsala. Yeah,
Yes.
on the carpet track.
Yeah.
But Pito, you competed a lot with. Uh, are you still as nervous, or were you more nervous
The
earlier,
same.
or the same?
Always the same. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Going over before even competition. Oh, done the worst. Oh God, it's horrible. It's horrible.
yeah.
But when it comes to the competition and when you are there, you get like a hyped and then it just flows.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always, I couldn't eat on the competition day, breakfast or lunch or anything. But once I've competed, then everything just fell off my shoulders and I could enjoy everything
Yeah,
little bit more. But yeah. And I'm like you. I love to compete, but I'm nervous as hell. And
yeah.
I've competed a lot, but I'm still as nervous every time. So
It never stops. It never ever
no,
stops. Even all the other competitions, even though the wall or lure, always I'm nervous.
yeah, yeah, it's
But it's
crazy.
good
Yeah.
nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to tell myself that it's good nervous. It makes you focused and you makes you more aware of what you are doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I love the atmosphere also there because it was the first time in EWPO competition. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. It was
yeah,
so nice. Everybody was so nice to each other, and I just loved it. The whole thing. It was awesome.
yeah, yeah. I was, that was UPF of course, but it was pretty much the same people
Oh,
that
in
was on
Italy.
in Italy. Yeah. So, but it got, I got the feeling that it was way, atmosphere was amazing, but it wasn't as, I'm not sure how to say it. It wasn't that sharp competitiveness. It was a competitiveness, but it wasn't that fierce as I'm used to with the EBPL.
Yes,
Yeah,
the same thing, and that helped to relax when you go and do your pull because it wasn't like grinding teeth and stuff like that, and everybody was cheering you, and you are because people are allowed to clap and
yeah,
cheer you, so it was really nice, and you just go there and do your best and have fun.
yeah. It would be interesting to see when it comes to the championship, if it's more fierce and more strict
Hmm.
competition then, because then that's the big thing.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it would be yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I will have to ask you for that after the championship in Poland. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So how many days did it take you to travel to Belgium?
It was easy this time because I flew. I flew to
Oh,
Holland, and Stephanie picked me up and stayed the first night at her place, and then we drove together to Belgium and stayed one night there, and so it was easy trip.
yeah,
But
that's good.
usually, like when I go to Poland, uh, it takes us 2 days to get there.
Yeah.
So drive one day and then sleep one in the middle there, and then drive another day and arrive in the evening. So
Yeah.
that's a long trip.
Yeah, that's a long trip. And do you drive? Yeah, you drive through the Balticum and that way down then
Yeah,
to Poland. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's an interesting part. It feels, for me, Finland is kind of close, but once you realize, you look at the map, it's yeah, it's
it
far
is.
away.
It's so
Yeah,
far. And some people don't understand that. Yeah, no, come to the competition, come here. It's like
yeah,
they might have the budget for the competition like 300 euros. It's like almost 2,000 euros for us to get anywhere from
yeah,
here. And then you need to ask a week off from work, so
yeah.
that's not easy either. So
No, no,
so
that
I have
that's
to
that's a
plan really
tough.
careful.
Yeah, and then it would be extra good if you have the dirt track
Yeah,
at your place. Yeah,
yeah,
so you can host some competitions over there and make sure. Then the guys that need to drive from south of Europe up to Finland and realize how far it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
We are having that ADBA competition here in Finland now,
yeah,
and people are like, "Oh my God, it's hot and it's so expensive to come."
yeah.
See?
Exactly. Yeah, you
Mm.
had that last year, the first
And we
time.
are having a new one this summer.
Yeah. So that show last year, that's a confirmation show, but I got the impression that was really good. A lot of people came and you had a nice time. Yeah,
Yeah, it was really, really nice competition, and it was a big success, I think.
yeah, that's nice. And that was on Åland. Yeah, I'm not sure about the English word for it.
No, it was actually pretty close where I live. It's
Oh,
like 20 minutes from here, half an hour
oh,
from my house.
oh, yeah. I thought it was more at the Mariehamn or something like that. But then it
No,
was no.
no, no, it was inland here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, then even better for you. Only half an
Exactly,
hour.
exactly.
Yeah, that's really close.
Yeah, and there
Yeah,
could be an also weight pull, but we don't have the track, and that would have to be removed and stuff like that.
yeah.
And that's
But
another thing, like with building a uh, rail track over here. Like if you put it outside, we have the winter when it's really cold. The ground it ruins everything. Like if you put the base there, so it cracks during the winter. So you have to do it all over again the next spring. So that's why if I ever have a track, it will be a dirt track.
yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to find a good indoor spot to have if you don't own the place yourself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that the rent is gonna kill you. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, and a vet and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. That's a big thing. Yeah, and it's a pity that Sweden and Finland are still thinking that Weightpull needs a vet.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Yeah, I did a episode a couple of weeks ago where I've been this year I've been talking a lot with authorities and requested documents and stuff like that, and it's quite interesting that it's in 17 years there's only been 9 dogs in Sweden that has been declined to compete ever, and no dog has ever been stopped from competing during a show
yeah,
in 17 years, and they don't have data for the first 5 years, but
yeah.
it's still it's yeah,
The same
it's
thing I
crazy.
did here. I was looking for data for all the dogs that has ever been hurt by weightpull or from the competition or training or anything. None. You can't find
None.
any. None.
No. That's crazy. I believe that it's the same in Finland when the vets they need to send their report of the show into the authorities and they need to save it and stuff like
Or
that. And
something like that. I'm not
yeah,
sure if we have to do that, but it's
but still,
I don't know how it works really.
but
I
that
think
would
it's
be
enough in Finland that the vet comes here and checks the dogs, but the vet has to stay the whole thing and stand there. And the vet that has been in last, I think, 7 or 8 years in F FEB, FWPL. I saw her during last winter, and I asked her that how many times. She said she has never ever seen anybody got hurt. Never.
well, I know a couple of dogs that got hurt training, but not it's been in before or after weightpull training, and every time it's been a ball. So they throw the ball to the dog and they
Oh,
do
yeah.
a fast turn and then they injure themselves or they
Yeah.
jump and they end up on their back or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I've heard in now. Yeah, still it's what it's 17 years I've been involved in the sport and yeah, that's the only injuries that I've heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pity, but it's yeah. We need to fight the power.
Yeah. Fight the power. That's a good one.
Yeah, let's hope that's changing eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, Nina. It's been a really nice time speaking to you, and I really hope I will try to fix my calendar so I can join up at Shack
Oh,
in
definitely. You
August.
have to.
That would be really, really good. It's yeah. I will do my best to be there at least, so
Yeah.
we can meet. Yeah,
Thank you,
awesome, man.
Johan. It was my pleasure to be here.
Awesome, thank you. It's yeah, it's always nice. And as I typically do, is there anything you would like to say to the especially the European weight pulling community to end the show?
Let's keep it fun
Yeah,
and
that's really
fair.
good.
Let's keep
Fun
it
and
fun.
fair.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really really good. It's very Finnish of you to have two words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Condense it. It's clear. Yeah, that's very very good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very very much, Nina.
Thank
And
you. I
yeah,
hope to see you in few months.
yeah, I really hope so.
Yeah.
Really hope so. Thank you
Great.
very much.
Thanks.
Great.
Bye.
Bye. If you enjoy what we are doing here on the podcast and want to help keep it going, there's a few simple ways you can support us. First of all, make sure you follow the channel wherever you watch or listen. On YouTube, subscribe and turn on notifications. And on Spotify, follow the podcast so you never miss an upcoming episode. It helps more than you think because it allows more people to discover the show and helps the podcast to continue to grow. If you would like to take your support one step further, you can also become a supporter through Patreon. By doing so, you help fund the podcast development, future projects, and all the work that happens behind the scenes. Every contribution, big or small, truly makes a difference. Running a podcast is about more than recording conversation. It involves planning, research, editing, technical work, and a significant amount of time. With your support, we can continue creating content that engages, inspires, and shines a light on the sport and the people around it. So if you appreciate the podcast and want to be a part of the journey ahead, follow, share, and support us on Patreon. Thank you for listening, watching, and being a part of building this together with us.